You're welcome to Johnson Praise TV. This is your digital classroom. This video is all about Soci 112, Soci 122 past questions review, and these questions are questions that will help you in your examination. So I'm bringing you multiple choice questions, and I would like to read for you. But in this video, I'll be a bit fast because I don't really have time. I have meeting, and I just decided to record this video for you. So in case maybe I'm a bit fast, just forgive me. Please, if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and share the video with your colleagues. And this one I've titled it Tito Dito. So make sure you watch it to an end and then share it with your friends because the time is just limited. You don't have time, just a day to your exam. So that is it. Now let's get started. So these questions I'm about to mention for you. Okay, if you take the paper and you take the paper, make sure you look for question 11, look for question 21, and then make sure you look for question 34. Yes, 34 rather, not 24. You look for question 60, and then you finally look for question question 60, question 100 too. You have to really do that. Okay, make sure you look for question 100 and then 60. So these questions, we are solving them here. So when you take, you first answer them and then you go your way, and then we try and see what will happen. So question one says that how may one appreciate the process by which foraging communities tried over many centuries to protect and sustain their sociocultural life within the daunting challenges of the expansion of the colonialist project? So the options are many. Because of time limits, I may not be able to read for you, but I'm giving you the best option. Okay, so what I'm giving it to you here is what this is B. The answer is B because we say what foraging communities were able to sustain their sociocultural life because they maintain strong kinship ties, and colonialists were not interested in the environment as an avenue to exploit forward any productive activity. So this is the answer. So usually some questions like this, the differences are not, you don't see any difference, right? But what you have to do is that to make sure, usually you check the first line. Okay, sometimes there's one word be that they change, so that's why you need to master the slide and understand everything perfectly. So this is B. The foraging communities were able to sustain their sociocultural life because they maintain a strong kinship ties, and colonialists were not interested in the environment as an avenue to exploit for any productive activity, right? So this is it. Let's look at number 2, which is what number 21. Like I told you, look for these question numbers, and it will help you. It says that which of the following option is true about pastoralism? Okay, A, it says that there is what often a good bonding between human and animals is false. B, all the beginning of pastoralism, light fields were acquired for for grazing animals. That's false. The answer is what C, which is what in pastoralism, because animals cannot be predicted, there is rather a weak symbolic bonding between humans and animals. So that is the answer. So in pastoralism, because animals cannot be predicted, there's rather a weak symbiotic bonding between humans and animals. Let's look at number 3, which is what number 34. Like I told you, look for this question number. Processes can was processes can was it was which processes can Ghana adapt to become industrialized? So the answer is A, which is what playing an active role in globalized world, such as the consumption of the industrial technological produce, paying such attention to the production of industrial products, right? So that is the answer. Let's look at number 60, okay, which is number 4 here. Number 66, that are less endowed with resources have greater challenges and opportunities to survive than others. True or false? The answer is what? False. The answer is false. Number 100, which is what number 5 here, it says that to say that industrialization is globalizing the world means that it means the world is becoming increasingly what unified in terms of exchange systems and reciprocal what gestures, right? So like I told you, I'll be fast, so be expecting some of these things, but I'll try to minimize the mistakes. Let's look at number 6 here. Number 6 says that which of the following statement is true about the evolution of humans? So see, all the options are similar, but let me show you the option that is what best here. So if you want to answer this question well, okay, all of them are talking about what this is what 10,000, right? So you should look for what 10,000, and then we have what says what it says that okay, about 10,000 years, human everywhere started what foraging, gathering food and hunting wild animals, right? Since since then we have become what since then we have become we have come a long way what adapting social culturally what transforming ourselves. Okay, the period came through human emerge through after human emerged and began roaming on the surface of the earth. So this is the answer. So it is not thousand, it's not 1,000 years, but it's what 10,000 years, right? Human. So that is the difference between the options here. So I'll read the other options for you. The difference is 10,000. You get it? Let's move on to not 5 million, not 60 million. It's 10,000 years. Number 7, it says agriculture is a form of intensive cultivation because it is A. So the options are they are giving you I, and IV, and then they ask you to what to choose the one that best suits. It says what cultivation system that uses small labor, capital, technology, and land land more temporarily than what horticulture. So it means that horticulture uses capital, technology, and and also what and land temporarily for what for horticulture more than horticulture. So this is not true. Let's look at it. Say cultivation system that uses irrigation facilities, farms, streams, rivers, ponds, springs to what to cultivate crops year after year. So this is true. Yes. B say I says cultivation system that marks that makes use of what chemical manure and so fields can be what can be cultivated on a permanent basis. That is also correct. And let's look at the last one. It says what system of cultivation that uses tools and techniques such as what irrigation and fertilization of soil. So the answer becomes what I and IV, right? So that's B. Let's look at number 8. The major imperial powers. Okay, the major imperial powers as Britain and France proclaim the white man's burden and mission of civisantrans, right? Civisantrize, right? In Western African colonies. To what did they implement this? Okay, what was the intention? So let's look at it. So it's giving you the I. So I convert African countries into what producers of raw materials and consumers of Western manufactured goods and technologies. I define the colonized what people as uncivilized, barbaric savages, and create impression that it is only by adopting colonizers' total way of life that the colonized could be considered civilized and modern. Just colonialism and justify colonialism and hide its main objective of exploiting the colonized people's resources and using them as markets and manufactured goods from Europe. And IV says that explain the Britain poet, that's what Rudyard Kipling's understanding why Britain and French expansionism was necessary in the colony. So the answer is what? I, and I. So IV is not part. All of the IV is not part. That's what um Rudyard Kipling's, right? His understanding why British and French expansionism was not necessary in the colonies is not part. So number 9, it says according to Barnett Taylor. So what is his explanation there? So his explanation to religion is E, right? It says that religions explain things about life people don't understand, and once science offers a better understanding, people will abandon religion. Okay, and that is what we are seeing now. Science is providing what tools and other things, technologies that is really making people abandon religion because they are finding solutions to the things that they didn't know or they didn't have answers to. So that is it. So that is what definition, Barnett Taylor's definition to religion, okay, or how he explained it. Number 10 says that which of the following statement best describes balanced reciprocity? So it could be, for instance, in families where goods and services are provided for children by their parents through the children and may not reciprocate what immediately. I it could be the situation where each has something that the other would like to have, in which a return gift is expected within a relatively short time. I says that it could be exemplified by the care that is given to the elderly who are unable to respond with a return of what goods and sources of equal value. And Ivy says that it could take place between persons who lack the sense of kinship or obligation to help one another with the expectation of a return. So the answer is I and IV. So I and IV says that it could what? It could be, for instance, in no sorry, I says that it could be the situation where each has something that the other would like to have, in which a return gift is expected within relatively short time. And then the IV says that it takes place between persons who lack the sense of what kinship or obligation to help one another with no expectation of what return, right? So let's now move forward. Okay, so um let's look at number 11. Why did Dr. Kwame Nkrumah introduce the concept of neocolonialism to describe the situation where many colonized countries are formally independent, but in reality they are still colonized? So the answer is what? B. So under the neocolonialism, the rich developed countries continue to extract resources and wealth from the poor developing nations through more enlightened and subtle way. Okay, that is what the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's idea about what the neocolonialism. Let's look at number 12. Why are anthropologists why are anthropologists and sociologists interested in religion? So the answer is what? B. They are interested in religion because it is what? One of the social institutions of society and ought to be studied. Because it is one of the social institutions, they they have to study it, right? So that is it. All right, I explained this in the first video, but that one was theory. So you should focus on this one because since the lecturer has stated that exams is going to be multiple choice, so focus on this. Number 13, it says that what purpose is to be achieved through the interactions among human societies, their environment and customs, right? So what is the what purpose is to be achieved through the interactions among what among human societies, their environment and customs. So yeah, let me give you the answer. The answer is D, which is what? Human occupied territories, their customs enable them to cope with the other environment and enable them to survive. Do you get it? So you have to pay attention. Okay, there are just some few words that have been changed. So the difference here is that this is custom. Okay, other one is using knowledge. C is using knowledge. B is using belief, and then D is using value. But it is not value. When you go through your slides, it is what? It is customs, right? So that's the only difference here between the sentences. So you see, when you're reading, always pay attention to the first line. Sometimes too, it's always the last or maybe middle. So let's look at it. Number 14. And please, if there's time, I'll bring you part 2. That's also about 40 questions. But looking at my schedules, let's pray. If I don't have time, I'll maybe do it in the midnight so you can study tomorrow. Number 14. Which of the following statements about agriculture is an adaptive strategy? Okay, so which of the following statements about agriculture is an adaptive strategy is true? Okay, so we are trying to ask the one that is true about an adaptive strategy. Agricultural societies are more stable and they normally form nation state. As a what? A system is a social stratification. A system of social stratification emerges where individuals fall in low or high classes with different access to wealth and power. Kinship is unstable among agriculturalists and does not form the point of reference for behavior. IV says that um, there is a clear-cut division of labor into groups such as what? Artisans, traders, warriors, based on what? Specialization. So the answer is what? D, which is and IV. So you look at I is what? Agricultural societies are most suitable and they normally form nation state. That is I. II also says that II says that a system of social stratification emerges where individuals fall in low or high classes with different access to wealth and power. And then IV, so I is not part. Okay, IV says that there is a clear cut division of labor into groups such as artisan traders and so on. Let's look at number 50. Which of the following statement present global implication of colonialism and its new form? That's neocolonialism. Except, so we are trying to look at the one, all of them are present what? Colonialism and neocolonialism, except what? So the answer is D rather. So we say that neocolonialism lead to globalization, a process that globally place limitation free free movement of goods, services, people, and technological transfer. So that is what the answer. So it says that what? Which of them present what implication of what global what implication on colonialism and its new what form of colonialism? Which of them is not part? Okay, when you read all of them, they are all part. Okay, with the exception of the answer here, that is D. Okay, when you say that new colonialism place limitation on free movement of goods and services, that's some of the thing, right? So understand the answer, and then when you meet other options, you know how you go with it. Let's look at number 16. 16 says a major difference between ancestral spirit and witches is that. So the answer is C. The answer is C. The major differences between ancestral spirit and witches is that the ancestral spirit are harnessed, but the witches are not harnessed because they are destructive, right? That's the difference. Because we see them to be destructive. You see this man play this song. Be kwasi so say what is describing witches at what? As foolish. You get it? Number 17. Sorcery is tash. Okay, so we are trying to, what is sorcery? So sorcery is the that's B, manipulation of physical and mystical object to bring about evil in a person's life. That's what sorcery. Number 18. Um, in accounting for the transformation of humans on earth, which of them, in accounting for the transformation of human on earth, which one is the answer? So you see all the options here are similar with the exception of the numbers. You see, A is talking about what 60 million years ago and 10,000 years ago. B is talking about what 10 million years ago and then 1,000 years ago. C is talking about what? C is talking about 60 million and 10 million. So the answer is 60 million and 10 million. All the other options, that's what you use to identify. It's 60 10, right? So says 10. You get it. Assuming, let's say, like you have given an assignment and you scored 610. So only put it that way. It's what? 60 million, 60 million, and then 10 million. So that is what you should use to identify. So C says that historians, archaeologists, and anthropologists reckon that the world took shape about 5 billion years ago, right? 5 billion years ago, and some 60 what? And some 60 million years ago, early primates emerged on Earth about 10 million years ago. Early human developed larger brains. So it is what? It is 5 billion, 60 million, and 10 million. Okay, so this is what? This is just beautiful. So just look at this. That's the only way you can differentiate them. You see, let's look at number 19. Colonialism had political, socioeconomic, and psychological effects on colonized people and their colonies. Which of these statements is an example of psychological impact of what colonialism on the people of the colonies? So the psychological aspect is that is D, because the Africans were conquered and colonized and were considered as uncivilized. Europeans, and for that matter, the whole of the white race are people of what? The lighter skin across all the world and assume feelings of superiority over the Africans. So that is the answer. Number 20. Which of the following is not a function of religion? Which of the following is not a function of religion? So this question is a bit confusing. It's between D and B, but me, I because A and C are in your slides, but the B, so me, I chose word B, which is what religion promotes happiness and feelings of power over others in the challenges of what life. So it promotes what happiness and feelings. Okay, me, I chose it because when you read D says that religion promotes growth in knowledge about how one can become spiritual. I think it's one of the functions of religion. So I went with B, but you may go with your own answer. Let's look at number 21. Read the following. Read the following evolutionary stages of transformation of human and rearrange them chronologically. So let's look at it. See, transatlantic slave trade and colonialism. Scientific breakthrough and investigation in Europe. Development of the rock trains, airplanes, and ship. And then IV is what? Technological and industrial what? Evolution. So this is what? IV. So it starts with which is what? Scientific breakthrough and inventions in Europe. IV is what? IV is what? Technological and industrial revolution. Okay, I says what? The development of rock, trains, airplanes, and ship. And then I says what? The transatlantic what? Slave trade and colonialism. That is it. Let's look at number 22. Cultivation use per land labor. Okay, cultivation use per land labor are usually higher for agricultural societies than horticultural societies because I the kind of production which acquires what more acres of land with more implements leading to what? Leading to the higher yield. The use of modern technology of production requiring more acres of land and human labor leading to what? Higher yield. And then I says that the use of more labor, capital, technology, and land more permanently in the production process. And then this one says that IV says that the use of irrigation facilities to cultivate crops year after year. So the answer is II, which is what? The use of modern technology of production, acquiring more acres of land and human labor, leading to what? To higher yield. And then III says that the use of more labor, capital, technological, land and permanently land land okay, so the use of what? The use of more labor, capital, technology, and land more permanently in the production process. And IV says that the use of what? Irrigation facilities to cultivate crops year after year. So which means that the I is not part, right? The I is not part. Let's look at number 23. Number 23 says that the awareness of the different specific environment as diverse as what? Artistic religion divert the tropical rainforest in which what people are found today, and their cultural trend is the result of what? So what is the answer? The answer is what? C, which is what? Understanding the success of humans in adapting to a complex natural world, right? So that is what. So the awareness of what? I'm reading the question again. The awareness of different specific environments as diverse as what? Arctic religions divert for the tropical rainforest in which people are found to be in the cultural trend is as a result of what? Understanding the success of humans in adapting to complex and natural world. Let's look at number 24. Number 24 says that which of the following best statement describe what? The similarities between hunter gathering and pastoralist. Okay, the hunter gatherers and then the pastoral the pastoralists. The pastoralists, right? The pastoralists. Let's go ahead. Okay, so the answer is B. Like hunter gatherers, the pastoralists what have what? Unstable and flexible group constitution. Okay, constitution, right? So that is the answer. Let's look at the number 25. In doing social research, anthropologists and sociologists are guided by consideration captured under the term ethical issues. The ethical consideration guide researchers to understand that okay, so these questions there and it does too much. Sociology. So I understanding other peoples who are usually not part of the world, or who are usually not part of the use. Sorry, I'm taking it again. Understanding other people. What? No, let me read the options. So the answers are what? The answer is what? Um, all of the above. So all of the above here means that in studying other peoples who are usually not part of us and our world, we must what? We must make sure that we must make sure that we respect them and their views and do not violate their word and their sacred places. Although deceiving the research subject is unethical, although what deceiving even though deceiving the research subjects are unethical, in some instances, such as investigating crime syndicate, research researchers are allowed to use what? Deception. However, they are expected to debrief their research subject after the study. I says researchers need to tell the truth about the research participation and protect them from harm. And IV says that researchers have what? The obligation to leave research subject and goodwill that other can also come and study them, right? So it's all of their bed. Let's look at number 26. 26 that says that which of the following statement is a major reason for the emergence of colonization. So the major reason is B, which is what? The effort by the Europeans to get hold of resources of other nations for purposes of industrialization. Let's look at number 27. In in their definition of religion, Noran and Lenski 2006, okay, are considered as what? How did they define what? Environment. So they define the environment as B, everything that is external to the group of people, such as animals of all kinds, and the vegetation in which they depend, rivers, lakes, lagoons, seas, and others, which affect them, So you see that the options is that some of them, the option one says the last word says that which they affect, the C says that which they affect, and then D says that which they affect. So you see that the difference here is what? Which affect them. It's a slight difference. Have you seen how the questions are? Let's move on. Number 28. Which of the following statement about transhuman nomads are false? Okay, so the answer is, so let's look at the answer before we read. I and I. So let's look at why I and I are false. So I says that there is what? The entire herders comprising of the men, women, children, they move with what? The animals together or throughout the year. That is not true. It says that during the treks, pastoral nomads treat their animals for food and other valuables. That's not true. But the I and IV are all true about pastoral nomadism. That is what, this is where part of what the group, usually the males, move with the animals to look for what? Pastures, while most stay at home. And then IV says that they cultivate crops as well and do not depend solely on the animals and the survivor. So the answer is what? As I see, that's I and I. Number 29. Which two research methods do anthropologists use to collect first-hand information and do detailed analysis on different peoples and cultures? So that is what? Participant observation and interview method. So that is what? C, participant observation. Let's look at number 30. Which of the following options best distinguishes between imperialism and colonialism? So the difference is that is B. Imperialism is the policy. That is what, this is the way we define imperialism. So we are looking at the definition. So it's a policy of a powerful nation to extend authority over foreign nation for a long period of time, while colonialism is the social, economic, political, cultural, and cultural domination of people by foreign power for long period of time. That is it. So that's the difference. Let's look at number 31. Which of the following condition do you think may enable, okay, which of the following conditions do you think may enable a society to decide to continue to live in its traditional environment despite the challenges that confront it? So the answer is E. The answer is what? It says that an environment may have both opportunities and challenges. A traditional society may also have their opportunities and challenges in terms of resources and disasters, as well as what? As threat as what? Wild animals. But for such societies, the ability of the people to survive on available resources in the environment, irrespective of the threat pulls on their existence. It is their paramount importance and may defy the threat and continue to live in it. Okay, so that is it. So you see that, so usually you check the first line. Okay, it poses what? Both opportunities and challenges. But this is what B says, that opportunities
with our challenges, and C says that they have both opportunities and challenges. But you see, the traditional societies may also have both challenges. Just like some slight differences. You get it. So you go with that. Also, can number 32. Which of the following statements about difference which of the following statements about the difference between pastoralism and horticulture as an adaptive strategy is not true? So we are looking at the one that is not true about pastoralism and horticulture. So pastoralism has a stable and inflexible group constitution and formal leadership, while horticulturalists live in smaller communities. Their denser, their denser population gives them corresponding greater political power. So that is what C. The answer is C. Number 32. Why is it? Why is a report generated from a detailed investigation of anthropology is called ethnography? So the answer is what B, because it involves first-hand data collection over a long period and a detailed description of the whole of the culture under study, which is usually outside of the country of origin of the researcher. Right, that's it. Let's look at number 34. Irrespective of the mutual benefit that different societies gain each other, I'm taking 34. Irrespective of the mutual benefit that 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 different societies came from each other through contact in terms of what goods and ideas. So that is what you are trying to say. The answer is what? The answer is D. The answer says that what an environment an environment aside its good intention can be a threat to the survival or viability of other societies. It results in poverty and underdevelopment in some societies, while while other societies benefit from the resources of the poor societies to enable them to keep and maintain high standard. Countries like British, Germany, France, examples of societies that exploit other, such as DR Congo, Angola, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, and other poor countries. So this one, if you want to know the answer, usually I think you check number B is ruled out. Okay, B is ruled out because it's talking about bad intentions. But you now have to look at A. The A is what mentioning of what it also added Germany, right? As you know, the poor countries, it added Australia to the poor country. Australia is not a poor country, so you see. And then the C is what the C. The difference is that it's talking about what they are it says what while the other societies are deprived from the resources of the poor society. So that is what is making it. They are deprived. That means countries are deprived from the big countries are deprived. So it's not true. So by when you look at this, it's correct. So let's look at number 35. Number 35 says that throughout history, some societies are, especially the technologically advanced, would declare war on other societies. These wars, these wars pass as threat within the social environment. So the answer is what C. That is what they lead to death of millions of people and created absolute poverty, hunger, internal displacement, homelessness, despair, and other debilitating effect on weaker societies, while the developed ones enjoy peace, stability, and material wealth. So this one, I'm classifying it as Tito Dito. Make sure you share with your friends, and then we'll see how things go. You see the part two. I have a lot of questions in part two. But with time, let me see if I can release some of them. If I can release the remaining questions. Okay, there are about 100 questions. Okay, there are about 100 questions. 100 questions. I've not released all of them. So you see the questions. There are many. Okay, so let me do some true or false questions with you here. So I'll take this one. So horticulture does not differ from slash and burn or shifting cultivation. That's false. Number okay, so this is what I ended at 35, so that's 37. This becomes 37. So in colonizing every individual to be what to be in production, distribution, and competition through thought as what as the calculative and what rational would like to what maximize profit such as what. Let me take this one again. You know, Charlie, yeah, bro. You see what 37, it says that in economizing every individual, be it in production, distribution, and consumption, is thought of what calculative and rational and would like to maximize profit as much as possible. Is true. Okay, 38. The basic technique of cultivation of horticulture is called what? Slash and burn. 39. Okay, so 39, transhumance is where the entire group of herders, that's men and women and children, move with their animals throughout the year. That's false. Okay. 40, pastoralism is a form of redistribution. That's what true. An adaptive strategy was developed by Dash. Okay, that is what Yehondi Kohan, right? 41, so 42, the cultivation continuum denotes that something starting from one point and ending at another is true. Number 43, industrial societies. Okay, industrial societies are also known as advanced societies. It's true. Number 40, 44, horticulture and agriculture are two forms of what food production based on cultivation. That's also what that's also true. That is number 45. Number 40 says in industrialized societies people cherish other values than profit, so profit will not always be a determining factor. That's false. Okay. Number 47, hunting and gathering is different from foraging. That's false. Okay. Number 48, the ethic perspective in anthropology is when the researcher interprets and explains social phenomena, events, practices, and perspective of other locally people. That's false. Okay. Number 40. Okay, so I've read 49, right? 49. Okay, so the Bumbuti are people of modern day hunter gatherer found in Australia. That's false. Number 50, pastoral nomadism is where part of the group, usually the males, move with the animals to look for pastures while most also stay at home. That's false. Number 51, workers experience alienation in industrialized society as it's what it is because what it be they do not what own the products of their labor. Number 51, that's okay, so I've read 50. 52, generalized reciprocity and balanced reciprocity are based on what trust and intense social ties. That's true. Number 53, horticulture can be what described as shifting cultivation. That's true. That's 44. 45, generalized reciprocity and balanced reciprocity are based on trust and intense social ties, whereas negative reciprocity exists because of less trust and weak social ties. Hence, poverty endeavors to get something in return. Okay, and so hence every party endeavors to get something in return in exchange. That's true. Number 56, transhumance is where the part of what transhumance is where parts of the group, usually the males, move with the animals to look for pastures while most of them stay at home. That's true. 57 says that dash is often said to have different what Dash is often said that the environment is a great to a great Dash is often said the environment to a great extent determines what humans can do, and this is also known as what environmental determinism. That's 58. Dash in developed world, the market operates to bring together producers and those who interact to determine prices. That's what true. And then 59, 59 says that which of the following traditionally is not a method of gathering data within the field of social anthropology? The answer is what? Research design. 60 says that which of the following is not an ethical standard researchers must observe during field work? The answer is C. That's researchers must what? Must forgive, must give gifts to the respondent. So please, I'll bring you the part 2, but pray if I have time I'll bring it.